Let's start with you. What are their chances right now, the Cavs, of winning the East?
Slim to none. I mean, really, really small. And that was the way it was before Kevin Love went down, so this only exacerbates it. Look, at this point, the only argument for the Cavs winning the East, the only reason to continue to put faith in them is if the two words LeBron James carry a magical meaning for you. That you can put all evidence aside, you can put all current predicament aside and go, you know what, in the end, I just think LeBron James is better than a team like the Boston Celtics by himself. That I think LeBron James is better now than the Toronto Raptors by himself. It's just not true. And by the way, Stephen A., I heard you last night. I heard you this morning. You're 100% right. You know what this should do, now that I think about it? Actually, this should help the Cavs' chances if I follow their reasoning. If I follow the Cavaliers' logic, Kevin Love is the source of all their problems. Kevin Love has been the real issue in Cleveland. So now no Kevin Love, they should improve. If I follow the Cavs' logic correctly, the scapegoat is gone. They should be improving as we go forward. Unfortunately, I don't believe any of that nonsense logic. They weren't going to win the East as it was, and they're not going to win it as it is. Both the Celtics and the Raptors, I think, have a much better chance at this point than the Cavaliers.
Max?
Go ahead, Max.
Look, I hear what you're saying, but if you put evidence aside, then and you might think that, but if you actually examine the evidence carefully, Will, and I think I actually might persuade you here with this argument. I don't think I'm simply arguing for the sake of debate. The question with teams in sports is there the requisite talent on the team? Because if there's not, you can spin your wheels all you want, and even if they're greater than the sum of their parts, good luck. But if you have the requisite talent, and you are still imploding, then we know it's not just the play. The play potentially is there. It's the chemistry. It's the finger pointing. It could be injury that precipitates all that. And in fact, I think that's the case with the Cavs. Will, you were telling us last year Isaiah Thomas was better that year than Kyrie Irving. I'm not claiming you think Isaiah's a better player, and we all agree he was an MVP candidate. Isaiah was amazing. Now, he was hurt with a hip injury. That's serious. And he's not all the way back yet. And he's not integrated into the team. And it's changed the dynamic. But is Isaiah Thomas capable of playing at that level, give or take? Sure, he's capable, like we just saw it. Kevin Love's a terrific player. We all agree. LeBron James, still the best player in the world. And even if you want to think that Kevin Durant is right nipping at his heels, you got to love Kevin Durant. So you still admit that LeBron James is a fantastic player. Those are three pretty big pieces. And then guys like Jamison Crowder, who have been solid two-way rotation pieces, at least, if not starters on many teams, that caliber. Tristan Thompson, it's guys like that. Kyle Korver, who can shoot the lights out. You have a lot of Dwayne Wade, who can still be useful off the bench. You have the talent. The problem is finger pointing, the lack of cohesion, chemistry, maybe leadership, factions on the team, those sorts of things. By the time Kevin Love comes back, Crowder, Thompson, these guys are going to get more minutes. Isaiah Thomas should be more fully recovered. Kevin Love will be rested, etc. And maybe most importantly, the Cavs know help ain't coming on the way. You're not trading Kevin Love or Isaiah. None of that's going to happen. You're going to have to look within yourselves, not look for help. You're going to have to figure it out. I think this could be legitimately a blessing in disguise.
Will Kane, you mentioned about LeBron James not being better than a team or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Literally speaking, of course, that's obvious because it's one person against five.
Right.
But figuratively speaking, based on what I saw in last year's postseason, LeBron James, before he ran into Golden State in the NBA Finals, do you remember how phenomenal he was? I mean, it got to a point where he was toying around, spinning into the lane, shooting up left-handed shots from 15 feet away, shooting shots with his eyes closed, just toying with the competition. I saw Toronto. I saw Boston. I saw teams that literally were demoralized, sitting back in awe of what they were watching this man do to them. The difference between Golden State and everybody else in the East is that Golden State is so phenomenal as a collection of talent. They're not fazed by that because they know that they're superior to any one man. Those other teams didn't know that. The only difference this year between this and last year are two things. The fact that Kyrie is on Boston now.
Not a small
And
thing
the fact
here.
that DeMar DeRozan and the fact that DeMar DeRozan has elevated his level of play in Toronto, and they seem confident that they could beat up on Cleveland outside of LeBron James. But here's the thing. If LeBron James in any way replicates the level of dominance that he did last year, I still don't believe there's anything anybody in the East could do, because Boston doesn't have Gordon Hayward to go with Kyrie, and DeMar DeRozan and those boys, I'm not sure they'll be able to do anything about it because they seem tailor-made for a LeBron James team.
Okay, let me respond to both of you quickly. First of all, Stephen A., I don't think you can just hand wave at the fact that Kyrie Irving was in Cleveland last year and Boston this year. I don't think that you can look at last year's playoffs and go, that was LeBron James all by himself. He was amazing. You're correct. But he had Kyrie, and Max, you're right. I have talked up IT. I've talked up IT in comparison to Kyrie. But we have to at least acknowledge that Kyrie and LeBron had years of chemistry and experience with each other, something that the Cavaliers are going to try to put together here in a few months. That brings me to you, Max. It's not simply, by the way, I did have an open mind. I swear to you. I had an open mind on your persuasion. Here's the thing. I don't think sports is simply a level of accumulation of talent. If that were the case, Lob City might have a championship today and not be completely in tatters. Run TMC might have had a championship. 7 seconds or less. The Dream Team in Philadelphia. Remember that Michael Vick and Vince Young said was a dream team with Nnamdi Asomugha and everybody else that never went anywhere? There's something more than accumulating talent. Coming together, chemistry, how do your styles meld? And
that's my argument.
But listen, right now you mentioned evidence. Right now the evidence in Cleveland is complete burning house.
But
no
Will, we are on the same page about that. Will, we're on the same. My argument is this could be a blessing in disguise, because part of the problem is LeBron seems to think the easy answer is looking outside the organization. Hey, maybe trade Kevin Love. Maybe do this. Maybe we'll get that guy. Maybe I'll go somewhere. And now with this injury, you ain't trading Kevin Love. You are riding with who got you. Like, this is your crew. This is what you're going to have to deal with. So from that point of view, they know now these guys are going to have to try to figure it out. That means that maybe there's a better chance for chemistry, because they'll actually have to try.
Let Stephen A. get the last word, then we got to go, guys.
The only thing I want to say, to get back to Will, of course, again, you take all the talent into consideration. You take the greatness of Kyrie. But I had to cover the conference semifinals against Toronto. I had to cover the conference finals against Boston. And I am telling you, watching LeBron flow the way that he flowed, you can go against talent and know that somebody is great, like Kyrie and others, and understand the challenge. But what LeBron was doing, toying with them to such a degree, those cats were demoralized. They looked absolutely hopeless until he ran into the finals. That cannot happen again, and they overcome that. They can't let LeBron do that. If he does that, Cleveland is still going to the finals.
Okay. The Cavs, as of right now, just 1-7 against teams with better records than them this season. The Warriors, Rockets, Celtics, Raptors, Spurs, and T-Wolves. Will?
Yep.
Always good to see you.
Thank you.
We will hear you on radio 3 to 6 Eastern. LeBron's decision left Cavs fans devastated back in 2010, but find out what LeBron said yesterday that could have Cleveland feeling some deja vu. Plus, James Harden goes all for 60 and has the Rockets red glare in Houston this season. But will the Beard handle the pressure of championship expectations? Keep it up. It's First Take.